New Twitter CEO Elon Musk's work with independent reporter Matt Taibbi to release reams of internal Twitter Corporation documents has revealed enough seeming politically oriented activity to fill a detective novel. And it also has prompted even more, because numerous leftist so-called journalists are exposing their own complete lack of professional integrity as they attack Musk and Taibbi. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV. Here's the story. The Musk-Taibbi work reveals that Twitter staff were very attentive to political connections, especially Democrat and Biden campaign requests to censor specific users and their messages. And the responses to requests to delete specific tweets seemed to have very little to do with the oft-parroted claim of stopping the flow of misinformation. For example, in one of the earliest of his Friday afternoon document releases, Taibbi tweeted, quote, "By 2020, requests from connected actors to delete tweets were routine. One executive would write to another, 'More to review from the Biden team.' The reply would come back, 'Handled.'" Shortly thereafter, Taibbi observed that both major political parties had access to Twitter's inside team and got responses to censorship/review requests. But he was forceful in noting that by far the Democrats dominated the questionable activity. Quote, "This system wasn't balanced. It was based on contacts. Because Twitter was and is overwhelmingly staffed by people of one political orientation, there were more channels, more ways to complain, open to the left, well, Democrats, than the right." Indeed, he attached a screenshot of campaign contributions on record for Twitter employees, showing that from 2018 to 2022, contributions rose from 96.38% up to 99.73% in favor of Democrats. As the MRC has shown in the case of the dinosaur so-called news media, this massive weight of left-leaning employees cannot be discounted and lends credence to arguments that the so-called news and Twitter populations have acted in ways that likely leaned, and in the case of the dinosaur news media, will continue to lean leftist. So is it at all surprising that one of those left media choral singers should sound off in anger that Taibbi is committing the equivalent of some sort of mortal sin by mentioning the strongly correlated facts that are right in front of our faces? Well, indeed, later that evening, NBC News senior reporter Brandy Zardonsky quoted that particular Taibbi release and actually tried to dismiss the information as inconsequential, claiming, quote, "To leap to political contributions as the reason the right was more often reported for rule breaking is just bad reasoning and really bad reporting. Good thing this guy doesn't have an editor." That latter referring to the fact that Taibbi is independent, carrying his own weight on Substack in addition to freelancing after his departure from Rolling Stone. The former comment appears to be an attempt to recontextualize information that in its real context is incredibly damning for both the left-leaning Twitter staff and for the people to whom they responded by taking down perfectly truthful posts. To disregard the exposure of the Twitter emails and the requests made by Biden campaign people, and to assume as valid the idea that there were more conservative transgressions of Twitter policy, which, by the way, was virtually as changeable as wind in a winter storm, well, to do that is to avoid the reality of the emails, of the political ideologies of the employees, and the content of the removed tweets. Ben Collins, another senior reporter at vaunted NBC, by the way, NBC is, The network that not only employed sketchy Matt Lauer, but also employed documented liar Brian Williams as nightly news host, and then kept him on staff at MSNBC after his lies became public knowledge. Well, Mr. Collins offered this brilliant takedown of the information Taibbi and Musk revealed. Quote, "Imagine throwing it all away to do PR work for the richest person in the world. Humiliating." And then he adds an expletive which more properly describes much of the work coming from NBC. Which makes one wonder what happened to Mr. Collins' mind to make him think that it's journalistically suicidal to openly and honestly work with a new business owner in order to reveal information about possible previous censorship, possible political favors for presidential campaigns to eliminate perfectly factual information, and other malicious activity at that corporation. What if the parties with the most influence had been switched? Would Collins think the information was worth publishing then? And this makes one wonder if Mr. Collins might envy Taibbi for his independence, even as Collins works for a so-called news corporation that repeatedly has been shown to have standards so low a diver would need to decompress after exploring their depths. Indeed, the revelations about Twitter almost are matched by the new moves of these so-called reporters to reveal themselves now as petty prima donnas. Covering one of the most prominent areas of dispute, the move by Twitter to ban New York Post reports on the ugly contents of Hunter Biden's laptop, reports that many Americans suspected could implicate Joe Biden in corruption and might have influenced more voters to turn away from Amtrak Joe if they had known before the election. The Musk-Taibbi releases show us precisely what we thought might be the case. The New American's R. Court Kirkwood puts it well, saying that Taibbi drills, quote, into the details about Twitter's role in spreading disinformation about the laptop. That disinformation was the claim that the laptop was Russia disinformation, a claim that Biden and the leftist mainstream media repeated despite knowing the truth. When Biden's handlers said jump, Twitter's trained poodles barked how high. And the Twitter attack dog show was not solely reserved to newspapers like the New York Post. Specific Americans were targeted to be gagged as well. As Breitbart's David Ng reports, well-known conservative actor James Woods spotted his name among the Bidenista Twitter censorship communications, seeing how the two forces conspired to suppress his ability to communicate with others. Quote, in an explosive interview on Fox News' Tucker Carlson tonight, two-time Academy Award-nominated actor James Woods described the Democratic National Committee as a bunch of rats.
I think these people are vermin for doing this to other people. I can guarantee you one thing, more than anything else you'll ever hear in your life. I will be getting a lawyer. I will be suing the Democratic National Committee no matter what, whether I win or lose.
And Woods believes that the tweet cited in Taibbi's screenshot of the Twitter communication dealt with the Hunter Biden laptop. The Twitter employee seems to note that he or she dealt with the Woods tweet under the rubric of safety. How nice. Ng rounds off his piece by focusing on Mr. Woods' justified outrage while chatting with Tucker. And I think this is worth reiterating.
And the government of the United States conspired to take my free speech and throw it in the gutter. And there's something that they should fear more than anything they have ever imagined in their wildest dreams. The most dangerous man to these corrupt, vile vermin is an American who's not afraid of them. And Joe Biden and all those rats who worked with you at the DNC, to close down my speech, I am not afraid of you. And I'm coming for you. I think Elon Musk has very possibly save America. I think the ship of state has been on a course rivaling the Titanic.
Well, that might be too praiseful and too hopeful, but the revelations are a start, and each small revelation about leftist corruption can help win over honest, sincere people who might begin to recognize the unsavory and unscrupulous ways many collectivists treat honest, sincere people who just want to respect rights and speak freely. Undoubtedly, the fight is not over. It's going to continue. As we learn more about those who would silence us in order to gain power over our lives, let's stay in touch with each other and spread the word. Thanks so much for watching. We hope you'll spread the word about these videos. Please head over to Rumble and subscribe there. More and more people are heading to Rumble. They don't censor over there. Of course, if you are subscribed over at YouTube, we appreciate that as well. We'll see you in the comments section at both video hosting sites. And please visit us at MRCTV.org. MRCTV.org is the place where you'll see the work of everybody on the team. And while you're there, please consider donating to the Media Research Center in its 35th year of fighting left-wing collectivist media bias. It is an intense job, that is for sure. And we'll also see you on TikTok and on Instagram. The Facebook page is really busy, so please join us over at the MRC TV Facebook page. You can find me on Gab at Gardner Goldsmith, and on Twitter I am at Gard Goldsmith. For MRC TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.